Hello students, welcome to groundwater and hydraulics classes. In today's class we will discuss about the module 5, the different methods which are used for the construction of wells. So we have seen the different types of wells like dug well, driven well, drilled well, tube well, open well. Okay, so how these wells are constructed in detail we'll discuss in today's class. So the first there are two ways you can distinguish the construction of shallow wells and construction of deep wells. So the construction of shallow wells includes, the first is digging. So digging is done only for dug well or an open well. So digging wells in shallow and unconsolidated alluvial aquifers, they can be dug by hand. If the material is not so hard or compact, then you can go for digging method by digging by hand using a pick and shovel. So the loose material that is brought to the surface in a container by means of a rope or a pulley. You might have seen such type of well constructions wherein they use the pulley and a container to bring all the dug material on the surface. So the depth of such type of wells in the image you can see, it varies from 3 to 20 meter. So that is the depth of such wells. It varies from 3 to 20 meters. Okay, and depending upon the position of the water table, we have to decide the depth of the well. Then these dug wells, they usually have a large diameter that is ranging from 1 to 10 meter. Okay, so this is the diameter of the well. So these dug wells, they penetrate about 4 to 6 meter below the water table, and the yield of dug well is generally small and is one of the older or in order to about 500 liters per minute. That is the yield of the well. So it is around 500 liters per minute. Okay, so this is the yield of the well from dug well. So a modern dug well is lined with casing of wood, or usually nowadays we go for bricks or rocks, or even concrete lining is provided for such type of wells. So as you can see in the image, there is a water table here, and below that water table we have to dig. So the depth or the penetration depth, it varies from 4 to 6 meter below the water table, and it is provided with a concrete wall. Okay, or it is lined with the casing of bricks or rocks or concrete or even metals. So this type of wells are dug well or open well, which are constructed by digging. Then the next way of constructing way is by boring, that we call it as a bore well. So it is hand operated, or sometimes it is driven by power. Okay, so these are the shallow, and these are constructed in unconsolidated aquifers. So a simple auger that has a cutting edge at the bottom of a cylindrical container, that is used for construction of such type of bored wells. So when the container is full of excavated material, it is raised and it is emptied on the surface. So here in the image you can see the different components of bored well are given. So here there are pipes, okay, with the valves for pumping. So such type of bore wells can go up to 20 meter or 20 centimeter diameter, and about 15 meter deep we can go for the construction of bore well. So there are power driven augers also are used for construction of bore wells, where the depth is more, okay, that is up to 30 meter in depth, and the diameter is 1 meter. Then we can go for power driven augers. So these are the how the bore wells are constructed. Then next is by driven wells. So what are driven wells or driving? So in this method, a series of connected lengths of pipe is driven by the repeated impacts into the ground to below the water table. So below the water table, it is provided with a series of connected pipes, okay. So when the water enters the well through a screened cylinder section, which is protected during the driving by a steel cone at the bottom, as shown in the image here, you can see there is a cone which is penetrating down. So these driven wells can be installed only in unconsolidated formations, which is relatively free of cobbles or boulders, which are bigger size sediments, okay. So driven wells we can install only in unconsolidated materials. If there are hard rocks, we cannot go for driven wells. So the diameter of such wells, it ranges from 3 to 10 centimeters. The diameter ranges from 3 to 10 centimeters. So such wells can be constructed up to 10 meter if you are going for a hand driven, and if heavy hammers if of about 300 kg are used, then you can go for about 15 meter below the ground. So the maximum yield of such driven well is usually around 200 liters per minute. So the yield of such wells will be 200 liters per minute. And the main advantage of this driven well is that it can be constructed in short time at a minimum cost, and only one person is enough for construction of these driven wells. So it is one of the best way of constructing the well. Then the next way is jetting. That well is called as jetted well. So what is done in jetting is, so this uses a chisel shaped bit which is attached at the lower end of the pipe string. So this hole on each side of the bit, it serves as a nozzle, and the water jetting through these nozzles, it keeps the bit clean, and it helps loosen the material which is being drilled. So the fluid circulation system is similar to that of the rotary drilling method. So here as shown in the image, you can see the jetted well construction with the water circulation that is maintained. The drill rods and the bit are lifted and they are dropped in a manner similar to a cable tool drilling method. So the jet drilling, or it is also called as jetting, is limited to drilling to about 10 centimeter diameter well, and the depth of such wells varies from about 60 meter to up to 300 meter you can go. So the other drilling methods, they have displaced the jet drilling for deep and large diameter wells. So these are the different ways of construction of wells. Then cable tool method and rotary drilling method, these are the methods which are used for construction of deep wells. So it was used earlier, the cable tool method, that is it requires a lot many equipments like drill bit, drill stem, drilling jars. Then there are different sockets and cables which are used for construction of the wells. So it is the older method, so they are not used now. So now we'll see after construction of well how the well is completed. So after drilling, what we have to do. So after drilling a well, it must be completed by the following steps like casing, cementing, screening and gravel packing. So we'll see one by one what is meant by casing. Here the well casing, it serves as a lining to maintain an open hole from the ground surface to the aquifer. So the casing, it provides the structural supports against the caving material which is outside the well. So it prevents the surface water to enter the well, and it protects the wall of the well from collapsing, because if it contains the loose materials, then there are chances of collapsing. So to avoid the collapse, we have to provide the casing. So the common materials which are used for casing, it includes the wrought iron or steel or PVC pipes. So these are used as a casing materials. So there are different types of casing like surface casing and pump chamber casing. Then next we'll move on to cementing. So cementing, the space which is left between the bored hole and the casing, that is filled with the cementing material. This is provided to prevent the corrosion of the casing and to stabilize the caving rock formations wherein the rocks are dig. Okay, so the cement grout, it consists of a mixture of cement and the water, and it can be placed by a dump baler or by pumping. You can place the cementing material and you can seal it. So that is placed in between the borehole and the casing. Next is screen. So these screens are provided in unconsolidated formations which are loose, which are not consolidated into a hard rock. So in such unconsolidated formations where the material is surrounding the well, that is stable, the groundwater can directly enter the uncased well. So in unconsolidated formations, the wells are equipped with screens. Screens are provided. So those screens, they stabilize the side of the hole, they prevent the sand movement in the well, and they allow the maximum amount of water to enter the well. So these screens are available in various ranges of diameter. So the selection of screen diameter, it should be made on the basis of the yield of the well and the aquifer thickness and the surrounding material. So the screens are, proper selection of screening is based on the yield of the well, the aquifer thickness and the material which is available in the well. Then the last one is gravel pack or gravel packing. So the gravel packed well is one which contains an artificially placed gravel screen or envelope surrounding the well screen. A gravel pack stabilizes the aquifer, which minimizes the sand pumping. It permits the use of large screen slots with a maximum open area, and these gravel packs, they provide an annular zone of high permeability which increases the effective radius and the yield of the well. So the gravel packs are used to get the maximum yield from the well, and it will increase the effective radius. So the gravel packing is provided for the well. So if we practice all these, that is casing, cementing, screening and gravel packing, then the well will be completed. Thank you.